and start, which is, so this is, it's 4 o'clock on March 16th, 2026. And this is the Cape Cod Regional Government Assembly of Delegates Standing Committee on Economic Affairs. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, this virtual meeting of the Cape Cod Regional Government Assembly of Delegates Standing Committee on Economic Affairs will be conducted via remote means only in accordance with applicable law. Members of the public will watch the meeting through live real-time broadcast at www.youtube.com/user/Barnstable County. A public participation guide and meeting documents are available in advance at www.capecod.gov. The County of Barnstable does not discriminate in the administration of its programs or activities on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, disability, age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or other category protected by state and federal anti-discrimination laws and regulations. Reasonable accommodations for people with disabilities are available upon request. For more information or to file a complaint, please contact Justina Marchak, Barnstable County ADA Non-Discrimination Coordinator at jmarczak@capecod.gov. Call 508-375-6646 or visit www.capecod.gov. Members of the public may also attend the meeting remotely through Microsoft Teams, and that event information is also available on the county website at www.capecod.gov. I believe that's all. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Clerk Fletcher. May I have a moment of silence to honor our troops who have died in service to our country and all those hopefully not going to serve our country around the world. Thank you. Thank you. And I guess we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk Fletcher, may I have a roll call? Clerk, oh,
Yes, Madam
there.
Chair.
Thank you.
All right. Delegate Frederickson,
Here.
Delegate Gasson. You
Here.
there, Delegate Gasson? All right. Chair Harder.
Here.
Assembly Dean John Oman is absent. Vice Chair Ty.
Here.
I believe that's 4, which with a full complement of 5, 3 is a quorum. So you are fine, Madam Chair. You have quorum.
Thank you very much. Now I am going to ask my committee. We had this presentation already. So unless anybody wants Director Senatori or Ms. Coyne to start, or Ms. McCauley to start, I suggest we just go into questions. Does that work for people?
Sounds like a great idea to me.
All righty. So why don't I start with Delegate Frederickson?
All right, you're doing that just because I ask a lot of questions, right?
No, not at all.
I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding.
You're the first box. You're the first box I see. So
well, awesome. Well, I'll keep it relatively short. Thank you for allowing me to ask a couple of questions. It's just kind of interesting being new at that to see that the Cape Cod Commission automatically gets a budget. It automatically increases every year. So it's not like a lot of other budgets where you have to like kind of vie for funding for all different types of things. So that's a good thing for the commission. All we do is kind of look at the numbers and see where you're putting it and make sure it's appropriate. And it all looks okay to me. I do have a few questions, and I think you sent out some information, mostly on travel expenses, those types of things. And the reason I ask those questions is because those are the types of things that are a small part of your budget, but can get you in trouble if you're not paying attention to it. So that's why I asked for it. I had a similar size budget when I ran the police department. Our travel budget was much different. In training was much different because, you know, we had a lot of take home cars, et cetera. So, it's a little different, but I'm glad you sent out this information because last year there wasn't a lot of information on it, that at least I saw. But I had a couple of questions. Um, what is the Strategic Information Office?
Sure, thank you. So through the chair, I'm happy to respond to that. And for the record, Christy Senatori, Executive Director with the Cape Cod Commission. I'm joined by Gail Coyne and Maria McCauley, our finance team. And we have, as you can see from that spreadsheet that we shared, a number of different departments within the commission, and the Strategic Information Office really houses a lot of our data and information staff. So a lot of our GIS staff, as well as those that develop different types of applications. So certain things that we might be using for mapping and data and information services that we share with our communities, with the towns. And so many of our staff fall into that category.
Okay, so they between them and planning take up a lot of the travel expenses.
Correct.
Why is that?
So certainly we try to make opportunities available to our staff to present as requested at many regional conferences, national conferences, and attending some of these conferences is very good for our teams to be able to gain experience and really hear from other areas across the country, really kind of some of the priorities and projects that they're working on so that we can learn, take lessons home, but it's also an opportunity for us to share our work that we're doing on a much larger scale as well. So you can see the staff that we typically have that we're sending to some of these conferences is planning, strategic information. Many of our natural resources staff as well are able and requested, quite honestly, pretty frequently to present at many of these conferences.
No, I'm a big proponent of getting training for your staff, and a lot of the trainings, you know, we don't know everything in Massachusetts, so you do have to go to these really specific training class. So just be careful with that. That's all I can say, because again, that is an area that is ripe for things to look at. As much as they can be perfectly fine, but they can look bad if they're not taken care of and documented properly. So just another question. You give people travel money, mileage, I assume, when they have to go to, you know, different meetings. Is that accurate?
I'm going to let Gail or Maria jump in on this one.
I'll be happy to answer that. Maria McCauley, Finance and Administration Manager. We do not give people money when they travel. The way it works, we follow the county travel policy and reimbursement policy. So staff has to follow the specific policies and receive reimbursement afterwards. So it's a standard IRS mileage rate. Just IRS updates the mileage rate every year. Right now it's 72 cents, 72.50 per mile. Staff submits reimbursement and uses GSA per diem rate for any travel, whether it's in-state or out of state. So when they travel out of state to conferences, their hotel rate is GSA established rate. Their meal reimbursement is only up to the GSA per diem rate. So it's very specific. It's not free for all. It's not like a consultant who can spend $200 a day or unlimited amount. There are specific policies and procedures that staff has to follow.
Okay, and you just follow the county rate on that's already established through a couple different ways, and that's pretty ready available.
County policy, yes, it's available. Yeah. I believe it's on the county website. If not, I'll be happy to share the latest updated county policy and procedure for travel expenses.
Yep, that would be great if you did that, but I leave you with that. Just be cognizant of the fact that those are, again, I said it already, just pay attention to it because it can be a headache. I've been there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else, Frank? That's it?
No, like I said, there's there's a few other on this board that are much
Yeah.
better at looking at the details than I am, that's for sure.
All right, well then I'll move on and then you can come back later if other things weren't answered by somebody else's questions. All right, Delegate Guesson.
Thank you, Chair Harder. And thank you folks for coming in today virtually. My biggest question looking at the budget was really getting an understanding of the actuals versus the expenditures. Just looking at the budget book, looks like FY23 through 2025, the actuals were, a significant amount, $1.5 million less than the budgeted amount. Looks like it's mostly, I assume, from unfilled positions. So I was wondering two questions there. A, am I right? Is that unfilled positions? B, is what's FY26 looking like? And then C, since most of the commission's budget is an assessment, does the commission have a reserve fund where these funds are currently going when there's a disparity between the actual expenditures and what's budgeted, or what happens to the excess funding year over year? Thank you very much.
I'm going to see if Gail can jump in on this one. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Sure.
Please,
I'm happy
Phil.
to jump in. Gail Coyne, Senior Operations Advisor. So a couple of things. Our actuals will typically be less than budgeted. As you know, we budget 100% of our personnel costs in the Environmental Protection Fund. But as people spend their time, they're billing their time to various grants. So it is charged to whatever special revenue fund they are working on. That then offsets the cost to the Environmental Protection Fund, which will then be lower. I don't know if that answered that question.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
Okay. And yes, we do have reserve funds. As you might recall, the Environmental Protection Fund is the full fund is reserved for use by the Cape Cod Commission. At the close of the year, any excess funds, any excess revenue over expenditures go into that fund. We meet with our executive committee at the end of the year to help determine how those funds are allocated. We have allocations for various purposes. The full fund balance, the cash balance, was 10 million at the close of fiscal 25, with an unrestricted or available fund balance of 1.2 million. We do have funds set aside for legal expenses, capital projects, personnel expenses, and other special projects.
Okay, and I think that just leaves my last question, which is, do you have any projection on what FY26 is going to look like in terms of actuals? Are we looking at a similar trend to the previous several years?
I would expect that we would return funds to the EPF at the close of the year, yes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Coyne. Appreciate it. That's all for me, Chair Harder.
Thank you. Delegate Ty.
Thank you. I just want to start off and say, I appreciate when I get your budget. A phenomenal job is done and a lot of work is into it. And my question is very, very simple. I just want to know what charges and obligations are, what that means, because I see it in several different places, especially under expenditures. And there is an increase in it, and I just was curious.
I'm happy to jump in with that as well. There are a
If I
variety
may,
of.
just for a
Sure.
sec, sorry. Sally, what page is that on? Just so I know.
130, and then it's also 130 of the budget book.
Okay, thanks.
FY27 expenditures by group.
Terrific. Thank you.
So if you'd like, I can jump in. It involves a variety of various line items considered to be current expenses. We have subscriptions, there's public officials insurance, unemployment costs. Building rental is in there. That's probably the biggest expense.
Mhm.
And then there's some equipment rental charges or miscellaneous charges.
Okay. That would all go under charges and obligations because you said equipment and there is a line item for equipment.
Equipment rental, I'm sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Equipment is group
Okay.
5.
All righty. And thank you for the prior answering of questions that was supplied earlier. Much appreciated, especially about the .4 planner position. So I thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, Delegate Frederickson, so we'll go back to you, and then I feel, unless anybody objects, I feel fine having Delegate Frizel speak.
Mhm.
But you're on the committee, Delegate Frederickson, so you get to go now.
Oh, wow. I'm on it twice. No, I really don't have any other questions. I have, the only thing that I think about sometimes is not really included in this budget is a more general question, is why the shared services position that we have in the county now doesn't fall under the commission. It seems like an appropriate spot, and it seems like there's plenty in the budget to do that. But anyway, that's just a thought, and I don't know why it hasn't gone there, but we don't have to talk about that today because it's not in there. So thank you.
You can feel free to comment if you want, Director Senatori, or you can smile sweetly and I'll move on to Delegate Frizel, whichever. All right, I'm seeing a sweet smile. Delegate, oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to speak? Do you want to address
No,
that?
I'm happy to respond, and maybe this is a conversation that we could certainly have in addition to this conversation now. But there's a lot of work to be done in that space, and I think that we're happy to work in conjunction with the other county departments. And I think there's an opportunity to really be more collaborative there. So while the position doesn't fall under the commission, I know that we have been working collaboratively with other county departments and could certainly continue to do that. So, but happy to have additional discussion about that outside of this.
Thank you. Anybody object to Delegate Frizel? Seeing none. Delegate Frizel, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm glad no one objected. Thank you for answering the questions I submitted, and you did answer them very quickly. I just want to follow up on a couple of them a little bit more. So on the .4 planner, you are indicating you want to move it to a full-time position. So was the current person who retired, was that a part-time person?
Yes, the staff member who did retire was a part-time position, and we'd love to fill that with a full-time position if possible. And resumes that we're getting in is really is showing an interest in full-time. So we're hoping to fill that with someone with that skill set, hopefully in the near future.
So even though that was filled for many years with a part-time, you believe there's enough work for keeping someone at a full-time rate?
Yes.
Would that person perhaps do work other than the historic work that that person was doing?
I think certainly historic work can ebb and flow, and so that person would be one of our planners as well, and could certainly work in that space when their time would allow.
Okay. And the other follow-up is on the building you're thinking about. You answered that you were thinking of a $2.2 million building. So obviously you have something in mind, right?
That's correct. So we issued a request for proposals, did receive one response, and it is a building that could potentially work for the commission, and we're pursuing that. There's a lot that needs to be done, due diligence certainly, but hopefully that is something that we could potentially move forward with. We'll know more over the next several weeks and months.
Mm-hmm. And so is that something close by, or is it far from the complex?
It is. It's a couple of minutes from the county complex, so
Okay.
not too far.
What would happen to the building you're currently occupying?
So it's currently, we lease that building, and
Right.
we have a lease that goes through 2028. And so certainly we would work with the landlord to identify opportunities to leave early if needed, or find opportunities to have someone else occupy that space.
So it sounds as if the building, if it works out, is something that's going to need some additional renovations to
Correct.
make it suitable for you.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't know the total price tag, but it's in that vicinity of 2.2 at this point.
That would be the purchase price, and then certainly renovations would be above and beyond that. But
And you,
that's a very moving target at the moment, so that's yet to be determined.
and you have enough in your capital reserve to handle all of that.
Correct.
Yeah. How much is in your capital reserve?
4 million. I'm going to ask Gail to confirm that.
Sure, 4,450,000.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. That's it, Chair, Madam Chair, for me.
Thank you. You're so well run. Just a little editorial from the chair. Does anybody have any other questions? Because otherwise, I see no reason why we can't have a motion to recommend this budget to the full assembly. Clerk Fletcher, obviously, I'm not doing this right.
No, it's just the last two words. You're making a recommendation on the budget to the finance committee. That'll make the recommendation to the full assembly, but we only do this once a year. It's fine.
All right. So may I have a motion to recommend the Cape Cod Commission budget to the finance committee?
I'll recommend.
Thank you. Second?
Second,
Fabulous. May I have a vote, Mr. Fletcher, Clerk Fletcher?
I actually didn't catch who made the initial motion. Is that Delegate
Delegate
Frederickson?
Frederickson.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, all right then. Sorry to just wanted to clarify that for my own sanity. And you'd like a roll call. So Delegate Frederickson?
I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
going to
sorry.
ask you to pause for 1 second. Delegate Ty, were you raising your hand?
no,
Oh, okay.
So Delegate Frederickson,
Yes.
Delegate Gessen,
Yes.
Chair Harder.
Yes.
And again, the Assembly's Dean John Oman is absent. Vice Chair Ty.
yes.
Excellent.
That's unanimous, which is today is 4-0, not 5-0.
Thank you very much. I think thank you very much to the Director Senatory and Ms. Coyne and Ms. McCauley for joining us. And I believe I could have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion. Second.
Clerk Fletcher.
Delegate Frederickson,
Yes.
Delegate Gessen,
Yes.
Chair Harder,
Yes.
Assembly Dean Oman, Vice Chair Ty.
Yes.
That's 4-0, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, everybody. Short and sweet, the way
Thank
it
you.
should be.
Thank
you. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.